And to that end, to the together aspect of this, one of the realities is that we are unapologetically intergenerational. We want to be distracted by our kids. We want to be interrupted by them because we believe they are going to learn Jesus' language just like they learned English, by watching us do it, by hearing us talk, by wrestling through this together. In fact, so many studies show that the best way to raise grown-ups who follow Jesus is to have intergenerational worship services for littles who might love Jesus and aren't fully sure. So we're way more intense on that. But the drawback is that if I preach every week a kid's message, all of us are kind of like, oh, it's neat and all. Like, he's well-meaning, but I'd like a little bit more. But what we do then is carve out space for all of us every once in a while to kind of come back to this gospel with youthful eyes. So for the kids in the room and the kids at heart in the room, and those of us who have been told we are not allowed to be kids at heart, I want to invite all of us to lean into what we're doing for our Children's Sunday in our Children's Q&A Sunday. So our discussion that's coming after this can be utterly and completely disconnected from anything I have said. And it can be parents. These are questions my kiddos have asked. Grown-ups, these are questions I wondered as a kid that I totally don't wonder anymore. Or whatever else it might be to kind of engage in this conversation. Anything is on bar or on the table. And parents and adults and grown-ups that have questions for yourselves, hang on for 2 weeks and we have a Q&A Sunday in place of a message. So in 2 weeks, we'll be coming back. It's like February 6th, I think, for just question and answer. Question? Okay. Perfect. So I'm going to start us off with a little video. And then as this comes to an end, we'll dive into a little bit more.
Did you know that life cannot exist without light? Nearly everything you use depends on light in some way. Light keeps us warm. It powers some of the things we use. It also helps our food grow. Without light, you would not be able to see the beautiful colors of a rainbow, a sunset, the moon in the night sky, or even see your way around. Light is a form of energy that we can see when it is reflected off the surface of an object. Light travels in something called waves. Light waves behave much like the waves in the ocean. However, light waves are much smaller. Some light waves are bigger than others, though. Different colors are determined by the size of the light wave. The light we see every day is called the visible spectrum. The visible spectrum makes up a tiny portion of the entire electromagnetic spectrum. In fact, less than 1% of light is visible to our human eyes. There are far more parts of the spectrum that we cannot see. Ultraviolet light, or UV light, means light beyond violet. It is just out of visible range for human eyes. However, some animals and insects can see UV light. For example, it helps bees to see which part of the flower to pollinate. UV light helps reindeer see lichen, a type of food that they eat. And scorpions glow under UV light. Pretty cool! Scientists, called forensic scientists, use ultraviolet light or a black light to help them see evidence otherwise not visible. If you ever seen a black light used, you may notice that things that are white look like they're glowing purple, and things suddenly appear on your skin and clothes that you couldn't see before. Light travels at a speed of 186,000 miles per second. It takes about 8 minutes for light from the sun, 93 million miles away, to reach the Earth. Light is believed to travel faster than anything in the universe. Did you know that if you travel at the speed of light, in 1 second you would be able to orbit the Earth 7.5 times? Light can travel through clear liquids, gases, and some solids, but not all. It can travel through some objects very easily, like air, water, and glass. If light can pass through an object easily, the object is called transparent or see-through. We can see light streaming through a window, but cannot see it coming through a wall. That's because a wall is opaque. Light bounces off an opaque object, or an opaque object reflects light. Cement, wood, or metal objects are examples of things that are opaque. Translucent objects, like a stained glass window, sunglasses, or wax paper, allow light to partially pass through them. Translucent objects cause light to bounce off and scatter in different directions. Even your hand is translucent. Next time you're out in the sun, hold your hand up to the light and watch how your fingers seem to glow. That's because light partially passes through the skin of your hand. Light usually travels in a straight line, but reflection occurs when light waves bounce off a surface. Without light reflection, we could not see things. For example, the light from a lamp helps a person see the words in a book. Without the lamp, the words in the book aren't visible. Have you ever wondered how the moon appears to be giving off light even though it's just a big rock? The light that you see on the moon isn't actually coming from the moon, but from the sun. The light of the sun reflects off the moon's surface, making it appear to be glowing.
Emmett didn't like that video. Seriously, I spent hours and like videos for preschool that are like the electromagnetic spectrum resonates, and you're like, these are not words that I know. So science educators out there, maybe figure it out. One of them was like shockingly complicated and talked about Newton and his theories and relativity, and I'm like, for 4-year-olds? So that was the best I could find. But here is a better conversation about light by Matthew Paul Turner, illustrated by David Catrow. Ready? You can go to the first page, Ben. I think there's a couple in-betweens first. Go in. Boom. Let there be light. The end. Just kidding. That's what God said. And light began shining and then started to spread. It flickered and dashed. It blinked and it flashed. Light poured and light spilled. It bolted and splashed. Light glared and glimmered. It flared and sparked. And wherever light shined, dark stopped being dark. In the beginning, space became bright because God filled it with twinkles of yellowy white. Brilliant stars gleaming, swirls of light streamed. In that once empty space, a galaxy beamed. When God made light, a universe lit up, a dazzling display of big, shiny stuff. And all that light, every bright golden hue, is the very same light that God put inside you. Now God made the sun to light up our days, to cover our planet with life-filled rays, to make summers warm, winters not too cold, to help flowers bloom and turn wheat fields to gold, to burst in the morning at first crack of dawn, to raise up slowly and beam across lawns. And when the sun shines, here's what you should do. Go run and have fun. Play a game, maybe two. Go skipping or flipping, or down a slide slipping. Or if it's too hot, in a pool, just go dipping. Dance in the grass, go climbing in trees, build castles with sand, face the wind, feel its breeze. Eat berries and cherries in a patch, pick strawberries, or whistle out loud with a choir of canaries. And once in a while, when the playing is done, look up to the sky and thank God for the sun. And when the light fades and the day ends too soon, wave goodbye to the sun and hello to the moon. Yes, God made the moon to brighten sky's night, to reflect the sunshine, to be our world's nightlight. But beneath the dark sky, there are things you can do. Just bring mommy or daddy or a flashlight or two. Raise a tent and go camping. Through the woods, go stamping, romping and stomping on paths made for tramping. Catch fireflies in jars, go gazing at stars. Try counting and seeing how many there are. See constellations, shapes, and formations. Find a lion or a bear amid heaven's creations. Sing songs round campfires. Make marshmallow s'mores. Let Grandpa tell stories. Wage flashlight wars. Now when God made light, God made all different kinds. Some sparkles, some flares, but all light shines. If it flashes and bolts when lightning is crashing, or bursts through the sky when a comet is dashing. And if you ever feel scared in the darkness of night, remember the shadows are no match for God's light. Climb into bed, sleep soundly and dream, and know that inside you God's glow is a gleam. Because you're just like the sun and the moon in the sky, as lustrous as twinkles that dazzle the eye. You're as splendid as lightning when it flashes so bright, because on the day you were born, God said, "Let there be light." So beam like the sun, glimmer like a star, and wherever you go, dark will stop being dark. Shimmer and shine, be a beacon so bright, because when God made you, child, God made light. And one more story from Jesus. I'm going to give Ben a second to twitch over. We've figured out how to not make me huge on the screen, which is really exciting for me, probably for everybody, but it does make it slightly clunkier to transition. So thank you for your grace in that. Lightning fast, that, by the way. Wow. Didn't even need a stall. Matthew 5:14. Here's another way to put it. This is the Message paraphrase. You're here to be light, bringing out the God colors in the world. God is not a secret to be kept. We're going public with this, as public as a city on a hill. If I make you light bearers, don't you think I'm going to hide? Do you think I'm going to hide you under a bucket? He's really happy with that. I'm putting you on a lampstand. Now that I've put you there on a hilltop or on a lampstand, shine. Keep open houses. Be generous with your lives. By opening up to others, you'll prompt people to open up with God, this generous Father in heaven. Me too. Thanks, buddy. Here's the reality. Young and young at heart, those that don't remember this truth and those that do, we are made to be light. And we are. What I love is that Jesus doesn't say, do you blow it out? He says you put a bucket over it, because you cannot blow out the light. We have been told again and again and again, as young people and as grown-ups, to hide our light, to keep it away, to protect it from the world, or to let it go out. We even talk about that sometimes. But the reality is, you cannot block this light. You are made in the image of God, and that image is light. And into the darkness came light, and the darkness could not overcome it, says John. What does it mean to be people that can confidently walk into the dark, knowing that the dark is then eradicated? To be able to walk into a room and make the monsters go away, to make the scariness stop. And I think the way we do that, I think he makes it clear here, is that we do that by opening up with God and with others. So much of the way that we can bring our light out is by being honest about how we're doing. It's brighter to say I'm having a bad day. It's brighter to say this is a lot of fun. It's brighter to be giggly and overwhelmed by the joy of something, and it's brighter to be crushed and leveled by its sadness than it is to pretend to be anything else. Kiddos, it is so hard to be parents and know how to keep your light while keeping you alive. But here is what we all have to strive to do. Help one another grow up with that light always shining. Keep each other alive. I'm still not allowed to play with a table saw yet. But the light that you show all of us cannot be denied. And that is true for each of you in this room. So I just want us to be a people that see our kiddos as examples of how to be. Because you know how you know when Emmett or Noah are having bad days? They make it incredibly clear. You know how you know when I am? You probably don't, because I am a 3 on the Enneagram, and I can hide it like you wouldn't believe. But here's the call. I need to be able to wear my bad days on my sleeve so that my light can shine more. We have to come alongside our young people and help them. Kiddos, you are light, and your light makes our lives brighter. I know some of you are over on computers, some of you are watching on YouTube tomorrow, but your light makes all of the difference. Parents, adults, grown-ups, so does yours. And it doesn't matter how hard or dark or overwhelming this world has been, your light is like this lamp. And there are no buckets in the world bright enough. I like this one because even when I put it down, it glows on my wood thing. Because you cannot actually snuff out the light. You cannot make it go away. Even when I push it down, it just gets brighter down there. Your lights are shining. Embrace it. Because that is who God made us to be. In the beginning was darkness and chaos, and God said, "Let there be light," and there was. And in the beginning, you were in a hospital room or a home birth or a bathtub or in the car on the way to the hospital, and God says, "Let there be light," and there was you. May we embrace that. Let's pray. Jesus, thanks that you are light. Thank you that in your light we can rest, we can laugh, we can cry, we can yell, and more than anything, we can be ourselves. You are good. In your name, amen.